change now, and let's get into the agenda for today. So, what we do is we play a video up front, which is a video of me sort of explaining who we are, what we do at a high level, going through kind of, everything from the software to the education and back again. I find that most people that are, or the majority of people are, have no idea what we do, right? Think that we're just a website provider or this or that. And we're rather more than that. So the video does a really good job of kind of giving it to you at a high level, quickly, who we are, what we do, how we can potentially help you. And then after that's over, sometimes I rant a little bit. Sometimes we can just get right into the Q&A, and I love the Q&A. Whether you're on this call and you've not sold anything, you're trying to figure out how you can even take your product to market, your art, your photography to market, or if you've been selling well and you've run into a situation where the pandemic has destroyed your offline revenue sources, or you're trying to figure out pricing, or you're trying to figure out markups or shipping or printing. Um, I literally talk to hundreds of artists and photographers a week, and I've been doing that for a long time now. I've heard it all, I've seen it all. And in addition to being good at marketing, been doing that a long time. I've got really good, solid data on 4,800 customers about what's working and what's not. I just noticed that there's like a circusy green in my headphones. Let me fix that. Okay, let's see if I can fix this in one swoop. So, point being, when it gets to the Q&A, even if you're never going to become a customer, I think I can help you. I've heard of a ton of problems. I got a ton of data. I know what's working. I know what's moving vast majorities of art down to just entry level mom and pop type of art. So, love to hear what your question is. Where are you in your journey? So we'll start with the video, and I'll see you guys on the other side in just a few minutes. Go ahead and play it, April. This is the homepage we're talking about that we just like recently redid, and I think it does a really good job articulating sort of who we are, what we do at a very high level. And if you scroll down the page, there's a bunch of videos and me explaining a whole bunch of things, everything that we do from top to bottom. But our tagline, which states everything that you need to start, run, and grow a successful art business, really does sum up what we do. We get pigeonholed as they're a website company. They're a website company, and yes, we do offer websites, but it is a tiny, tiny portion of what we do. Ultimately, we learned a couple of years ago, the hard way, by the way, if we are going to grow and be successful as a business, art storefronts, that is 100% dependent, surprise this one, but on how successful our customers are, on how much art and photography our customers are selling on a yearly basis. And so when you look at that as the problem that we're solving, it becomes so much more than a website, because a website is not enough. But still, we're going to talk about the website. I'm going to get into the other layers as we go down. So it does indeed all start with the website. I will pull one up because it'll make it more interactive. And, you know, anyone that's been attempting to sell art or photography for any period of time, I'll use Bono today, they know one thing conclusively: selling art in an e-commerce capacity digitally online is not like selling other items. It's not like selling swim fins or ladies' handbags or electric scooters or bicycles or anything else, right? Buying art, okay, and buying art online is A, an extremely visual process, and B, an extremely friction filled process. And what do I mean by friction? I mean, friction is all of the various different things, okay, that will prevent a visitor to your website from turning into a buyer, okay? And so, really, everything that we do with our software is attempt to solve for this friction, okay? To solve for the friction, to solve for how important the visual aspects are towards selling art and photography online. And, it's never any one feature, it's all of the features working together. It can be little things like when you select a media type, which is canvas, it changes to a canvas, a gallery wrapped canvas. Most people don't even know what a canvas is. And so we've developed special videos that show the differences, the nuances in the real world, what an actual canvas print looks like, what's going to show up at their house, what are the high points of this one, is canvas different than metal. Oops, I missed a click on that. And so you can see what a metal print looks like and how it's sitting flat, eventually how it's hanging up, all the nuances, the intricacies, because it is such a visual process buying art. We have a feature called the wall preview, which allows you to cycle through various different room types. Again, such a visual process buying art. Not only can you circle through the different room types, and yes, you can add your own room type images in. We use some generic ones by design, and you can size pieces up and down, see what it's going to look like. Do I need a 36 by 49? Is that too big? Do I instead want a 28 by 38? We're making it easier for your potential customer to get to a buying decision. What if they want to, their walls aren't white, right? What if they're this ugly color? Or there's something a little bit darker. Is the piece going to look good with this color, right? Because again, buying art is just such an incredibly visual process. Another feature that everybody likes to talk about that we get a lot of plaudits for is
Here we
we
are
have this
on
feature,
Artist and
excuse
Art.
me, mute that, called live preview with AR. Okay. And what this is this allows somebody to come to your website with their telephone, can be iPhone or Android. You can see the phones here on the right hand side. And without downloading any apps, they can just use their phone, their camera, and press one button on your website that says live preview. And what this is going to do, it's going to take the camera on their phone, okay, which is going to show the real room, the real wall, where the art will potentially go. And then it takes your piece in augmented reality and it projects it onto the wall. And you're able to move it around with your finger. You're able to size it up, size it down, take screenshots. And so, is it going to look great in the room? What size do I need to get, right? And so, again, this is attempting to solve for the visual friction of, I don't know if it's going to work in my room. I don't know what it's going to look like, right? It's just getting them one step closer to a buying decision, removing the friction from the process. And, you know, I've been doing e-commerce marketing, digital marketing my entire life. Everyone loves to gravitate towards the wall preview or the live preview with AR. But the reality is when you do this for any period of time, it's not about one individual feature. It's about all the features working in conjunction. And you never know which one's going to end up, if we think of a sports analogy like a basketball team, it's how many players you have on the court that can contribute, right, to eventually scoring that basket. And so it's why we do the demo process. We have literally hundreds and hundreds of features, all to remove the friction, all to help you get better at selling art and photography online. And when you request one of these things, our outreach team will reach out, have a conversation with you, and schedule it. It goes like an hour and 10 minutes, and we just go through feature after feature after feature. So it's not about any one of them; it's about all of them working in conjunction. Independent of that, let's keep working down the page. So we also have a ton of back-end software. It turns out running an art business, art photography business, there's a ton of individual little nuance and things that can slow you down. Okay, things like uploading an image and how many images do you have to upload to your web page for all the various different media sizes and types you have. It's very helpful to be able to just upload one, have all the sizes auto-populate for you, and tell you exactly what you can sell. Things like markups. How do you set markups? Can you do it globally? Can you do it per media type, right? And so no one likes to talk about the back end features, but we have a slew of those as well, all there to make your life easier, to give you time back. Okay. Um, let's talk about our fulfillment. And we love talking about this. This is in our company DNA pretty significantly, but I'll pull up a website. So we're on Bill Stidham's site. Or I should probably start here actually. So we are integrated. Well, let me start here. You can have it any which way you like. If you're an artist that just does originals and you get orders, obviously you're going to be responsible for fulfilling the originals because you have them. If you're an artist that has a local printer or a photographer that has a local printer, you really like using your printer, you can use your printer. The orders come in, you send the order to your printer. We call that self fulfillment, no problem. What we recommend our customers do, though, is integrate with one of our print partners, and I'll get into the reasons why. But we've got Graphic Dimensions on the East Coast, we've got Bay Photo on the West Coast, we've got Print Partner for our customers in Canada, and then we just recently integrated with a company called Guten that handles the merchandise, and I'll get into that in a second. Um, how does it work? You sign up, you get your site set up, which usually takes 14 days or less. You click a button that says, I want to integrate with this print partner. An order comes into the website. The printer gets paid. You get paid. The order gets printed. The order gets boxed. Your logo goes on the side of the box. Boom, it ships to the customer. You touch absolutely nothing. There's nothing you have to touch, nothing you have to do. All happens automatically. And again, it's to give you back that amount of time. And you know, no one has time in today's day and age to be dealing with the admin. Okay. Any time that you spend on the admin, by which I mean sending the order to your local printer, uh, uh, checking on the proof, sending tracking numbers, did it ship, any of that correspondence, all of that, if you're spending your time on that, is time you are not spending on your biggest problem, which is your marketing. So we really believe like streamlining sort of this drop shipping, print on demand, automated fulfillment is a very, very wise decision if you want to create successful artists and photographers. Now, just recently, this was probably what, like a month before Christmas, maybe. We integrated with a company called Guten. And what it allows our customers to do is sell merchandise of a myriad of different kinds. Hoodies, iPhone cases, tank tops. They can come in, adjust the image exactly how they want to see it. Maybe they want to tilt it depending on what case it is, and get iPhone cases and a number of different other items. Um, we've got throw pillows and I clicked out of it, and coffee mugs, and we're adding more and more and more and more of these. And on the subject of merch, we realize again, if you go back to our original mission, why we exist, we need to create a set of circumstances, a set of conditions such that the artist, the photographer can make and grow as successful a business as they want. And so some artists look at this merch and they're like, they turn their noses up at it and like, that's not fine art. Why would I ever want to do that? Some are like, I'm all in, I love it. We don't care. Our job is to provide as many different opportunities for artists and photographers to be successful as possible. And we've been totally blown away by how much of this stuff actually, believe it or not, sells. And some of it is higher margin than you would think. Like a throw pillow is $44, and what does a tote bag cost? I think a tote bag costs $38. So sell it or not, you have every opportunity imaginable available to you. If you want to have it all, in kind of like Bill does here on his site, where you have your fine art media types across the top, and then you have the merch all in one product page. Great. If you want to have individual items in the store, you want to have your artwork, fine, and then you just want to have a line of phone cases. If you want to have one for a couple of weeks and then turn it off, you can do any and all of that, and it's one click to turn it on at any point in time. It's automated. It's completely automated in terms of fulfillment, and that's not going to change. And we realize again, like, artists and photographers are essentially just creators, right? You're just creators, and you have a talent. You have a talent with a brush, or you have a talent with the lens. You want to monetize that talent. Okay. So again, our job is to give you as many different opportunities to be able to monetize that talent as possible. So that's how we go about it. And again, it's a debate about when to use it or when not. But somebody on one of these sessions earlier was like, who's the greatest rock band of all time? I was like, no, who? He's like, the Rolling Stones. He goes, guess what the Rolling Stones have at their concerts? I said, what? A giant booth for merch. He's like, they sell hundreds of thousands of dollars of it a year. If the Stones sell it, I'll sell it. So anyway, I thought that kind of stuck with me. It was fun. So that's our print fulfillment. And I should say too that we're adding calendars, and we're adding puzzles, and we are adding photo books. And to be honest with you, if they come out with a line of hot air balloons, we'll add hot air balloons too, right? Because again, it's creating a set of circumstances such that the artist and photographer can be successful. We don't care where the success comes from. I don't care if Brian gets into business and he's the number one iPhone selling case guy of the entire United States. He's got a successful business, right? So not for us to decide. Support. We believe we have best in class support. If you took a look at our Facebook ads and you scrolled through the 350 of them, you'll see more positive responses for the support than just about anything else. We're very, very good at this. Yes, it's in all the venues you think it is: email, phone, chat support. But in addition to that, kind of what I'm most proud about is we run 6 days a week, including Saturdays, Zoom sessions, just like the one you're on right now. Okay. And you can pop into one at any point in time with any support related issue and get fixed, get unstuck. There's screen shares. They can take over control of your computer and just get you sorted instantaneously. So we're very, very good at it. Not only do we support our application, we ask you guys, we teach you guys marketing all year long, which I'll get into in a second. What if you're having a problem with Facebook or with Instagram or with MailChimp or with your Facebook ads? We actually support that too. You can pop into a Zoom session and say, hey, Patrick, I'm stuck on my Facebook ads. I'm getting this message. Can you help me? And our team will get you unstuck. That's an amazing thing. There's not many companies that do that. So I'm very, very proud about that. That's in terms of the overall website picture. And we essentially do all of that, okay, to give you your time back such that you can work on the biggest problem that every single solitary person on this Zoom call has, which is the marketing problem. You need to get better at it. And let me tell you, I've got 4,700 customers, and there's only one universal truth about every one of them, right? Every niche imaginable, every subject matter, all over this country and others, every one of them has a marketing problem. The person that just passed $500,000 a year in sales has a marketing problem. They want to grow that business, they have a marketing problem. The person that just is getting started, sold their first piece, they have a marketing problem, and everybody in between, right? It is the biggest problem. And so, we want to create successful customers. We realize we need to teach artists and photographers how to market. And so, how did we solve for that particular problem? We created collectively what might as well be called the Art Business University. That's how we look at it, because I'm not sure there's a better term to explain it. One, we have the best digital education that exists in terms of selling art and photography online, full stop. I'm hang my hat on this. We have detailed documentation that we call playbooks on every marketing facet imaginable. How to run an email campaign, how to run a Black Friday sale, how to go live on Instagram, how to go live on Instagram and Facebook at the same time, how to go live on Instagram and Facebook at the same time with your laptop on a cell phone. Detailed, step by step, audio, video, screenshot documentation. If we're asking you to send emails, we will give you the email copy. You just adjust it to taste for what you're doing. So the playbooks are incredible. They're very robust and they're very focused on teaching you how to market. We pair that with a 365-day a year marketing calendar. Okay. It has on it beginner, intermediate, and advanced. You take on what you can take on. You're never not knowing what you need to be doing on a week in, week out basis. You start doing, first, you're overwhelmed. You're like, I've never done this. This is crazy. How am I going to survive? And then you fight through it, and you got through the beginner level, and then you take on the intermediate, and then you take on the advanced. The majority of our customers follow this doggone near verbatim year in, year out, because it works. It's effective. Not only does it tell you what to do, but it solves for one of the other greatest pandemic of our lifetime, the shiny object syndrome. Okay. Not only does the calendar tell you what to do, it tells you what not to do. Okay. What not to be spending your time on. Right. And how do I know this? One, I'm very good at digital marketing. Two, we have 4,700 customers and I get to see all of their data. I can tell everyone on this call conclusively, out of the 4,700 customers that I have not seen anyone turn a positive ROI at marketing on Pinterest. No one is making any money from marketing on Pinterest. So I'm going to tell you, you don't have to worry about Pinterest. I see you laughing, Mary. I do not want you spending any time on Pinterest, period. Waste of time. So too with SEO, okay? So the calendar is equally powerful on what you need to focus on is what you ignore, okay? Is what you ignore, and that's a big deal. Number 3 of the Art Business University is what we call office hours. Okay, we take the entire customer base, we split it into 3. Until you sell $2,000 directly on your website, you're in the traction group. And after you sold $2,000 on your website, you're in the ramping group. After you sold a much higher revenue threshold that we don't publish, you get in the advanced group, which we call growth. We hold week in, week out, every single solitary week. And we took 1 week off for New Year's, but essentially 48, 49 weeks a year. Zoom calls like this. You come on a weekly basis. It's either me or members of my team. We go over the playbooks. We go over the calendars. We talk about wins. Somebody landed an interior decorator and sold $35,000 worth. They're going to come on and tell their story. Not only are they going to come on and tell their story, they're going to say, here's the email that did it. Here's the copy. Here's the Facebook post. And you can go and look at that stuff, right? And you're learning in concert with your peers. Digital online education is not enough. Okay. If you look at the stats out there, I don't care who it is, Kajabi or Masterclass or lynda.com, 30% of the people that buy those courses actually finish them. So we can't just have digital education. We have to have in-person teaching sessions, and everyone knows how to Zoom now. It's our new reality. So those sessions, which we started like, I think 2 weeks, 3 weeks ahead of the pandemic, have been the single solitary biggest fundamental change to our business we've ever had. If before the pandemic, I had 100 customers and I told those 100 customers via email, guys, Black Friday's coming. You got to get going on your sale. Here's the playbook, right? And then I recorded a podcast episode and I was like, we're going to do this. 35 out of the 100 would take action. After these video sessions where I'm able to go through things, people are able to ask their questions, raise their hands, get unstuck, learn your peers. I have 75 people taking action on that sale, and it's fundamentally changing the business. It is making our customers more successful, more accountable, actually staying focused. Like, look, you guys are all solopreneurs for the most part. I mean, we could pull this entire group, and not a lot of you guys have a big team. You don't have an office behind you where you're yelling at an intern to help you out. You are a solopreneur, okay? Myself, the CEO, we've been entrepreneurs our entire life. I know it's a roller coaster. I know there's highs and the lows. When you're on those lows, you need to kick in the pants, right? You need to be lifted up sometimes. And that's what these Zoom sessions do too, which is incredible. We follow it up with a Facebook group that is highly curated. Okay. There's no trolls. There's no nonsense in there, right? You've seen some of the other groups out there online and how ridiculous it gets in those things. And Artists are sharing with other artists, photographers are sharing with other photographers, the people that are in the landscape niche are talking to others in the landscape niche. Hey guys, what do you think of this new direction? What did you use in terms of pricing? They're publishing their wins. And so sometimes you can't just hear it from us, the official company mouthpiece. And so it's nice to have a whole bunch of people that are doing this same journey at the same time, helping each other out, sharing, what are you doing here? What are you doing there? So that collectively is the Art Business University. And it's like a college. I mean, it really is. And the difference is you pay your tuition, you come in, and there's no graduates because the learning never stops, right? And in addition to that, it never will stop. In today's digital marketing landscape, the goalposts are just constantly moving, right? Like so quickly, you feel like you just learned something and it moves over here. So we keep you up to date with all of that. As a final, about 6 months ago, or maybe 5 months ago now, we started an in-house marketing agency. And it's an in-house marketing agency that only does one thing. It helps artists and photographers sell more art online and off. And we believe already, as of current today's date, it's the biggest sole-focused art and photography marketing agency in the world. And that's not hyperbole. I've been asking on these calls, can someone name me an agency that specializes only in helping artists and photographers sell their work? I haven't found one. No one's ever put one in the chat for me, especially not a big one. Why? Because my aforementioned point, selling art and photography is not like selling swim thins or ladies' handbags or scooters. It's hard, right? It's really hard. And we're good at it because we've been working at it for a long time. Also, I get upset, right? Because I look at all of you guys as like, you own a McDonald's, right? And if you owned a McDonald's, you have to know how to do the ordering. You have to know how to clean the floors. You have to know how to open the building. You have to know how to operate the drive-through window. You have to be able to flip burgers and fries and do all of that and do the ordering, right? Like it's your business. You need to understand those things. But at the same time, I'm not naive in the sense that 80% of our customers still have full-time jobs or in some capacity. Maybe they're service-based photographers and they're trying to sell their fine art. So I get it. You need you need to be able to have the ability. If you don't have the time to do the marketing and you have the resources, you need a la carte things that you can jump off the shelf. Hey guys, I need my Instagram profile tuned up. I need my Facebook page tuned up. I need to help with a sales campaign. You need to be able to do that sometimes. In addition to things like we'll completely build your website for you. You don't want to do that. You hate building websites. Your fears in life, in order, are death, taxes, and building another website. I get that. I get that, right? So you can drop your images in a folder, tell us to build the site, we'll build the site for you, okay? We'll manage your Facebook ads, okay? We will manage all of your social posting. And again, it goes back to the top premise. Like our job is to create successful customers. And so we looked at it 6 months ago and it's like, we need to have an agency. And then some people are like, well, I want to do it myself. Fantastic. Our job is to have the best DIY product, do it yourself, learn, come on the sessions, and then also have an agency where you can pay. And again, it's a la carte or it's, up to almost full service. And the amazing thing about it is, I've been doing marketing a long time, right? What do all marketers love? A case study. Oh, we love a case study, right? With the sexy data about this huge win, and we publish it on social media and we use it for lead generation. So totally did that all the time. Okay, guilty. And if you lose, you don't publish it, right? You wait till you hit a winner and do all that. But it used to be, I would go and run a case study with a customer, and I'd have limited bandwidth to do that, and then we would build the playbooks. Well, guess what I have now? I've got agency staff. I've got one guy that all he does all day long is spruce up Instagram pages for artists and photographers. He did 65 of them last week, or probably 65 last month. So imagine the learnings that we're getting. What happens is the learnings are going right back into the playbooks, and then they're coming onto the Zoom sessions and they're teaching, and we've got a little flywheel going on, right? We've got a little artist and photographer education flywheel. So it doesn't matter if you ever order a single solitary service from the agency, and we don't even care if the agency ever makes any money, in all honesty, because all it does is just improves the product, makes more successful customers, and helps us grow. So we really, at the end of the day, are fundamentally a business that can be thought of as a rowboat, right? It takes our oar, your oar. We jump in the boat in the same time. And if we can get that thing rowing in the same direction, the faster we can get that going, the better everybody does. So that's Art Storefronts in a nutshell. That's my presentation. Oh, boo. God, it happens every single solitary time. I've got my super cool video background, and then it goes away. Hopefully that did it. Okay. All right, so that's the high level sort of who we are, what we do. So we'll open it up for Q&A now. And how do you do that? A whole bunch of different ways to do it. One, if you're in the Zoom session, at the bottom, there's like a little participants button. And on the participants button, you can like raise your hand. There's a digital version of it rather than like the real version of it. But if your camera's on and you want to do the old school raise your hand, I'll see that too. I'll see that too. If you want to be on video, wonderful, fantastic. If you don't want to be on video, totally get that. I hate being on video. You can leave a comment in the chat, like Rona and a couple others did. Rona and Francesco did, and I'll get those. And then if you're watching on the socials, on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, or any of the other ones, I see those too, so I can answer those questions directly. So I'm gonna start. I'm gonna start with Francesco because I had one in the chat. And go ahead, Francesco.
Hey Patrick, how are you?
I love I love
Yeah,
I love I love your name, by the way.
thank you
Franch.
so much,
Can I hear you say it?
Francesco
Montefiore.
Montefiore. Yeah, you got it right.
Yeah, yeah. You literally sound like an Italian race car driver. Just side note.
Okay, so I've been getting your emails,
Yes,
and
you and everybody else. We only send about 50 of them a week. We are the worst on email volume. I apologize. I apologize. I apologize ahead of time.
I said, okay, I'm either going to unsubscribe or show up for the meeting. So here I am.
Well, welcome. I'm glad you did.
What it is that you know this very well. We're bombarded by people in on Instagram and Facebook that tell us they're going to resolve all our problems.
Mm-hmm.
We are artists. We are not marketers. It's
Yes.
very uncommon that you will find an artist that is good at marketing or that it likes doing it.
Not very.
So I
Extremely uncommon.
yeah.
Extremely uncommon. Yeah.
So I had my Instagram account 2.5 years. I have 135 followers. It's a joke.
Yeah.
I see other artists that they have 30,000, 60,000.
Mm-hmm.
People that they have a painting that is so simple that is like an abstract with a horizontal stripe of gold leaf, and they sell it for thousands of dollars. They even get sold before they finish it.
Yes.
So how do they do that? I'm sorry, I'm gonna bombard you with several
No,
questions,
I love them.
but
Fire away.
okay. First of all, are you going to offer support regarding Instagram
Yes.
and how to increase your followers?
Yes.
And then once you have a lot of followers, how to land the sales?
Yes. So it's what we teach all year long, right? Like,
Okay.
you go back to my presentation, and we started out as a website company, and then we realized you're not going anywhere with a website company because everyone signs up for a website, sucks at marketing, doesn't get any sales, quits, goes and tries to find another website company, uploads to a marketplace, decides art doesn't sell online, goes back to the show and fair circuit. So yeah, we teach marketing all year long, never ends. Our whole secret sauce is how we instruct artists and photographers to market themselves all year long. So yes, we teach you to market on Instagram. Yes, we teach you how to market on Facebook. Yes, we teach you the mechanics of a basic sale and how to run a sale. Yes, we teach you how to market consistently all year long. We teach you how to go live on Instagram. We teach you how to go live on Instagram and Facebook at the same time. We teach you how to run your first live art show. And as I said, kind of in the pre-recorded video, you know, marketing has a couple secrets to it. Like, number one, cliche, there are no damn secrets. There never has been. Two, it's doing it consistently. No artist or photographer, the vast majority, ever work on it consistently, right? They think like this is going to be my year. I'm going to market my butt off, and I'm going to go market for 2 months and then not get the results that I want and then quit, right? Which is what everyone does. And then the third one, which is really important, is, you know, the shiny objects, right? Artists love going after the shiny objects. All humans love going after the shiny objects. Ooh, I heard TikTok is the next latest, greatest thing. I'm going to go get on TikTok. Or, my cousin in Poughkeepsie does SEO. And if I just do SEO and get my site listed on 35 directories, I'm going to get sales. All bullshit. All bullshit. Okay. So we focus you on the marketing that matters and gets results and gets ROI. Okay. Yes, it's Facebook. Yes, it's Instagram. You have to go where the attention is. But the perspective.
Sorry to interrupt
No,
you,
no, go ahead.
Patrick,
Go
but
ahead.
how do you do that? Like we're doing it now through Zoom, or it would be just a recording?
So three ways. The first is, or I should say four ways, right? Because we have to have all of it. The first is we have really, really good what we call playbooks. Those are thought of as online DIY, do it yourself, learning your own pace education. So we have these for everything: how to run a sale, how to run ads on Facebook, how to run ads on Instagram, how to post on Facebook, how to do story highlights on Instagram, all these various different things. And that's great. Then we take the entire customer base and we split them up into three groups. If you haven't sold $2,000 yet on your site, you're in one group. If you sold over 2,000, you're in the next group. And then if you sold over a much higher threshold that we don't publish, you're in the advanced group. Every single solitary week, we have a Zoom session like this. It goes anywhere from an hour to 3.5 hours, where we teach what you're supposed to be doing, and then we open it up to Q&A. In addition to that, there are what we call marketing support sessions that are on Mondays and Saturdays. And you can come on those Zoom calls at any point in time. And if you're having a problem with Facebook or Instagram or MailChimp or your website or any of the rest, you can pop right on, talk to a human, share your screen, get it fixed.
Okay, because for example, I had um, a service for a year
Mm-hmm.
where they have information every week. They send you an email
Mm-hmm.
with information how to market yourself. Now focus on your newsletter. Now focus on this, focus on that.
Yeah,
I never do it.
I know.
It
I know.
feels, I don't feel supported
I
like
know.
that.
Trust me, I know.
I need to have, like you said, a person in front of me. And not only that, you need a person to person support, like to address all these questions.
Yes, you do. Yes, you do. And it also you'll find too also that like it actually really helps being in this format that we're in now. You know, if this was a normal customer session, it would be we would be teaching the thing, everybody would be in the group together. You end up starting to know the people in the group together, and so when they have a big success, right, and they're like, you won't believe it, I sold 16 pieces to an interior designer, and they come on and tell their story. You know the person, right? It's not like some BS case study, and they're like, check out my Facebook page. This was what I posted. This is what they responded to, right? So, they it's very important to be in a peer group with like-minded individuals, everybody that's trying to solve the same problems and on the same journey together and learning at the same time. To your point about the thing that you signed up for, I don't care whether you're talking about Masterclass or Kajabi or lynda.com or any of the online education providers. It's the stats are roughly about 30%. 30% of the people that buy the course, how to email market for artists, how to run Facebook ads for artists, 30% of the people that finish them. So to your point, you can't learn in isolation on your own in a vacuum. You have
Yes,
to have the support
yes.
of the sessions. You have to have it. We found that early on, and I use this as an example, and it's like a crazy way to think about it, but it's true. We're morphing from what most people would call a website business into a retail location. Instead of a retail location in Los Angeles or New York or Texas, it's a retail location that's on Main Street of the internet, meaning you can pretty much already we are live in Zoom sessions with our customers probably 30 hours a week right now. I think that'll end up going to 80 or 90 hours a week, meaning after you become a customer, there is a Zoom session that you can pop into running pretty much 9 to 5 every single solitary day. And you come in and you get something fixed, or you get something sorted, or you learn about one of the topics. And my guess is that because of the pandemic that we've just lived through, because everyone understands Zoom now and understands these video sessions and understands it's the norm, there's going to be so many companies that are going to end up moving to this model because it's more efficient, it's more effective, right? When you can just pop into a class and talk to a real human and get instantaneous interaction on why something's working or why you're stuck on or whatever, it's how you create successful customers. Full stop.
So, Patrick,
Yes.
just to give a chance to other people to ask questions,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
I don't want to monopolize this. Just the last thing,
Uh huh.
can you give us an idea of pricing?
Yes, absolutely. So we're, and let me deconstruct it this way because it makes it easier to understand.
Yeah.
We're like every other website company out there, right? How does every website company operate? You pay a monthly fee for the website, right? So that's where it starts. The education, which is really the most important thing, because 99 out of 100 artists, photographers that sign up, they don't have a lot of traffic, they don't have a huge email list, they don't have a ton of digital activity going on. The marketing education is the only problem that you guys all have. I would even go further to say that we have customers that are selling over $500,000 a year of art, and they have a marketing problem because you constantly need to be getting better. These are the new rules of the new game. So the way that we handle the marketing education is it's essentially a university. You pay a one-time tuition fee to get in, And then there are no graduates in the university. The learning never stops, right? So you have the monthly website fee, and then you have the down payment to get in. And the down payment to get in on the cheapest plan, I believe, is $1,000. And I think the monthly fee on that one is like 45, 49, something like that a month. And then it goes up
And
from there.
the website has e-commerce.
Of course. Yeah. The website is the single solitary best art selling website that exists on the web right now, which is not hyperbole. We don't really have any direct competition that have all our features.
And
Like
for the $1,000, do you give like monthly payments, or it has to be down in one payment?
we have financing, but they usually tell people like you should just wait and save up and get the 1,000. But there is financing inside. They actually might break it up. That's a good question. I would what I would do, Francesco, is request a demo. What happens when you request a demo is the outreach team calls you and it's like a 10-minute call. You can answer
Okay.
all the questions. They know all the details that I just there's not.
Thank you.
Yeah, yeah.
And apologize to everyone for taking so much time.
Oh, that's very respectful of you. With that name, you can get away with it. I'm telling you. Race car. And my kids are like watching that Cars movie and like the Cars 3, one of the characters' name is Francesco, which is hilarious. So anyway. But yeah, request a demo and ask them, Francesco. And look, if you hear anything you don't like on there, they don't harass you ever again.
Okay.
Our salespeople aren't pushy. Don't worry. But thanks for the questions. Okay, FP, you're up next. Gotcha.
Oh, that's me. Hi.
Hi.
So I've been following you for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
I have a project called Nomadic Online um, Movement of Arts Against Depression.
Okay.
So Nomad. And I love your project. I love your work. I don't have the money to pay for it right now.
Mm-hmm.
So I would have to gather funds. I'm thinking to start a campaign. As you say, I'm a solopreneur. Everything I've done myself. I built
Yes.
my website on my own. And my project is to invite artists from all over the world. I have a really, really big project, which ends up in an app that would like a map app where you could upload your art event, your art happening, and then you could, as you are traveling, look for the local art happenings,
Mm-hmm.
more like an underground scene.
Okay.
So I'm really into the underground scene, and the question that I have is because of all the changes in the world, I don't know how updated you are with sourcing from fair trade sources, looking for organic materials, fair trade materials as for the prints, so that you can have like a fair trade or an organic certified choice
Mm-hmm.
to have for your prints, for your canvases, for your shirts.
Mm-hmm.
This is a matter that I am looking into it. Uh,
Don't
sorry
worry,
for
I've
that.
got kids too. I get it.
That I'm looking into it very deeply. So I don't know if you could help with that part, because this is for me, and it should be for all of us, a requirement for anything. My quality standards right now, it has to be like, organic, fair trade,
Yeah, yeah, no,
natural
no, no, no.
source.
Trust me, I get it.
So,
Like it's easy.
so
It's easy, right? Because if
that's the
those
question.
media types exist, the two print partners that we operate with, which is Bay Photo and Graphic Dimensions, they'll have it as a media option. And I'm not sure that they do or they don't, but they will have it as a media option. That's number one. Number two, the merch person that we integrated with, which is called Guten, which is the biggest one, I'm pretty sure does not offer 100% cotton sustainable, fair trade certified, all of that. But we've had a number of customers make that same request that you have. So we're
Mhm,
looking into figure out how we can do it from a
mhm.
feasibility standpoint. If there is somebody that does direct to garment, like true fair trade certified. So yeah.
And that is exactly my question, if you are actually working on it, because as I said, I don't even have the resources right now.
Mm-hmm.
But as we are building the campaign and the project, this is like a key point, and everything. Like I'm thinking, I should make some T-shirts, and I'm like, but which T-shirts? They should be recycled T-shirts, And so I'm thinking like this, and if you guys could solve that, since you have more access to general sources,
Mm-hmm.
to the providers, you can find this kind because it's really hard to find. I start finding, like, okay, who's printing on recycled or sustainable t-shirts.
Yep.
Who's doing that, and it's really hard to find. So maybe for you guys it's easier, and then you would solve it as you said yourself. You've had requests like this, so um, I am glad to know that you're working on it. I'll be following up too.
Wonderful. Thanks, FP. Appreciate it.
All right.
Okay, on the next hand, I'm going to go Joe, and then I see a bunch of questions in the chat, and Philip, I'll get to you too. Don't worry. Okay, go ahead, Joe. You'll have to unmute bottom left-hand corner. It's like a little microphone button, and I'll let you know when you've got it. Takes like one little click to unmute yourself. Yep, gotcha.
Okay. All right. Okay. Hopefully I come through okay because I'm in a little bit of an unstable internet sometimes.
Yeah, what I'll do is I'm going to
questions.
stop your camera.
And,
I'm going to stop your camera because sometimes what ends up happening is when you do that, the audio comes in clean. So let's see if we can hear it.
Okay. Okay. So, first of all, I have three questions. One with the restrictions. Is there any restrictions on what you can put on your Ryan, I guess it was Wednesday, and signed up for this class? He kind of looked at my work and said, yeah, you'd be a good fit for art storefronts. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So suppose, suppose my work is not up to par or something. Can you guys ever, in terms of service, say we don't really think you're up to par?
No, no one can. No one can. Joe, the only person that can is the market. Only the market can. And if you ever listen to anyone else, they are completely full of it, right? Like, this is everyone tries to go like to get validation in one facet or another, right? Like whether I got a lot of likes and comments and shares. And it's like, you did. That's fantastic. Now go drive down to the ATM machine and show me where the button on the ATM machine for likes, comments, and shares is, right? It doesn't exist. There isn't one. No one can tell you whether or not your work can sell. The only thing that can tell you is the market is taking that product to the market and attempting to see whether or not people that do not know you, i.e. people not named mom, dad, friend, best friend, sister, will pull a credit card out of their wallet or write you a check or hand you cash. That is the only thing that can tell you. And anyone that tells you otherwise is full of it.
Okay, I got that. That's if there's a problem with the work. Let's say I'm thrilled that you use Bay Photo because they're my favorite lab.
Yeah, they're great.
And I do self-fulfillment through them now. And occasionally, there's an issue with an order. Recently, I just used their signature feature, which is great because, people want your signature on your stuff. And if it's going to go straight to them to be drop shipped or they're going to pick it up, I'm not there to sign it. And I trust Bay Photo because they're a good lab. I trust them that the work is going to be quality. If there's a problem with something, anything, who takes care of that?
Oh, here's the dirty little secret, and don't tell your rep at Bay that I said this, right? But both Bay and Graphic are massive companies, right? Like they're doing in excess of, $35-40 million in prints a year, or whatever ridiculous fee it is. For them, number one, they're really, really good at what they do, and so there's very few problems. Number two, when there is a problem, they would rather just print and ship a new one than deal with any customer BS whatsoever. Don't tell them I said that, but that's how it works. Like, oh, there was a problem, damage in shipping, boom, print, ship, another one goes, done. And it happens, we sell a tremendous amount of art and a lot of it through Bay, and it happens so infrequently, I can't even begin to tell you. Like extremely infrequently, like maybe one order out of 500 has a problem. And, it's cheaper for Bay and Graphic, ship it back, send me a photo, nonsense. Unless it's like a massive order and all of it's damaged or something. If it's just like a onesie twosie, they just reprint and ship and that's it. Done.
Okay, but does the customer, like, let's say they get the piece and there's a scratch in it, do they
no.
contact me?
Yeah, well,
And then I call Bay?
yeah, what usually happens is
they contact you.
the customer will usually always contact you. You want them to contact you because you're the one maintaining the relationship with them, which is the key, right? So then you'll just send an email to our customer service, and the rest is done. That's it.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
That sounds awesome. I think you probably mostly answered them all. The other one, I guess, was is there any labs that do decals that you work with?
Not
I've got an idea
yet.
about
Not yet.
making some decals for my
Yeah,
photography.
not yet, but we're working on it. And I think you probably heard me say in the video, like, we've sort of done a complete 180 on merch and additional products recently. And again, it goes back to our premise, which is like, selfishly, if you want, right? Cynically, you can say the only way we grow as a company is if we create successful customers. And we realized when we turned the merch on with Guten, like, there's a lot of people that thumb their noses at merch, right? Like, oh God, cell phone cases. I'm trying to sell fine art, right? You're doing cell phone cases and throw pillows and all the rest of these knickknacks. Like, this is ridiculous. And then we started seeing a bunch of early successes. And then we sort of pivoted to the point where, like, you are just creators. Everybody on this call is just a creator. You have a talent with a brush or with pencils or with a lens, right? Or with sculpture in Matt's case. Like, all of you guys are trying to make a viable business. One of the best ways to make a viable business is have several sources of revenue, right? And so that's what some of the merch provides. That's what some of the people that sell classes provides. That's what selling the fine art provides. That's what people that just sell originals. What are you doing? Start selling originals, commissions, and prints, right? Those that are just offering one media type, you need to offer the rest of the media types. Those that just have one high price point and no low price points, what are you doing? You're missing. So all of those additional things are literally critical, and we're looking to add absolutely everything that we can. So we have all the typical merch stuff now because Guten is like one of the biggest merch companies in the United States. But we're looking this year to add photo books, and not just the low end photo books, the higher end photo books as well. All of it comes down to a struggle of like, what can you add that is 100% POD, print on demand, meaning the artist, the photographer doesn't have to carry any inventory. There's no minimum orders, right? You have to order 50 of these things, So we're literally looking to add everything. And my guess is 2 or 3 years from now, if there is a product in which an artist or a photographer can put their work on it and sell it, we will be offering it, right? And it's not to say you need to have all of them or some of them or any of them, right? But it's just having the opportunity to be able to monetize your talent is literally where we're going, where we're headed. So yes, the answer is yes, we're looking at decals. Yes, we're looking at stickers. Yes, we're looking at everything.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. So I could do, for instance, if there was a product that I wanted that you didn't quite offer, at least yet, I could do self-fulfillment.
100%. 100%.
I could fulfill that myself.
Exactly.
Okay.
And you can decide to do any combination thereof, right? Like if it's originals, you're going to ship them directly. If you integrate with Bay or Graphic or whatever it is, all your prints are handled. Excuse me. If you wanted to do some sort of hybrid in between, like you have every option available to you is the long and the short of it. And it's like, despite the fact that, and I'll get into this in a minute with Matt because he's got a sculpture question. Despite the fact that the whole entire website is set up and is designed from the ground up to sell wall art, it's also just an e-commerce store at the end of the day, right? Like, an e-commerce store, what is it? It's a product listing page, an image, maybe you have the video, and then you have a shopping cart experience, right? Where you can check out and do the credit card. So you can literally sell anything right now, anything. Like, doesn't matter, anything. Digital classes, online classes, tours of the national parks. Like, we've got people selling all sorts of things, but we're sort of staying under the art and photography umbrella.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Joe. Okay, I'm gonna go Matt because he had his hand up, and then I'm gonna go to Rana, and then Jesse, and then Philip. So Matt, you're up next. Go ahead. I'll let you know when. Yeah, gotcha.
There we go. Yes, you had a discussion the other day with Gerard, another sculptor.
Yeah, I remember.
And I wasn't sure what the takeaway was with that conversation. To me, your business sounds confident enough that it could sell any kind of artwork.
Yes.
That it doesn't necessarily have to be something you hang on the wall.
No, not at all.
good, because you know, and some of my sculptures are hang on the wall.
Mhm.
They're framed. They're just two-dimensional metal artwork,
Yeah,
and
all
that'll
day.
work just fine. So you could help me set up a website. You can help me with marketing. I like what you had to say about how I may have to get on the phone
Yep.
and a Zoom meeting with someone to show all the dimensions of my sculpture
Yes.
in order to sell them and woo them into buying.
Yes. Well,
So
especially the differentiation point is way more about price point than it is anything else. Meaning, like once you get over a certain price point, I would argue it's almost mandatory. Like 99 out of 100 times you should be doing it. Um, but you know, we are moving into an era of video sales, and for solo entrepreneurs, like the overarching premise, and you know, it's weird to say this, but it's important. Not new. Video technology, not new, right? Been around for a long, 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 long time. But like certain things, you know, they have their normal evolution, and then something just sends them rocket ship status. And you know, you don't notice the worm when you're on it that it's turning, but the combination of everybody in the world getting really strong bandwidth, right? The combination of everyone having a smartphone, and the combination of how good the social apps are, even if you don't use Zoom, you know, if you use Messenger, or if you use FaceTime, or if you use any of the other ones. So the fact that you have the ability to not leave your house and jump into a conversation with a prospective buyer, that is 100 times more efficient than them browsing crap on your website and having questions in their head and not getting answered. If you have a qualified buyer, especially for sculptors, because your price points are so much higher usually, like you're dying to get on a call. That is the number one highest ROI of Matt's time that he can spend full stop in his business, is have a prospective client on a video call showing the product, getting to know you, and getting the sale over the line. That's like a massive premise for me, a very important one.
And one other quick question,
Yes.
Because my sculptures are not duplicatable, like go out and print,
Yes.
you know,
Yes.
100 copies.
Yes.
One of a kind, and I would run out of inventory after 20 customers,
Yes.
which is okay with me because I'll
Yes.
just keep making sculptures.
Exactly right.
But do you see that would be a problem down the
No,
line?
no, 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 not at all. I mean, are you kidding me? It's a limitation to your particular business model, but you know, every business model has its ups and its downs, right? And so, yeah,
Yes.
the downs is, yes, you're not going to sell reproductions of your sculptures. Well, 3D printing, I don't know. That 3D printing is interesting, but independent of that,
Right.
you have higher price points, right? Much higher. And your commission business is extremely strong, right? Like if somebody loves what you do, you'll find that you're going to end up, and especially as you start marketing, what we normally see with sculptors is they have their pieces that they like, that they create that they like, and people are like, wow, that's really good. Oh my gosh, I have this specific need. Can you make this for me, right? And you'll do extremely well in commissions. That's the nature of that business.
Have you ever heard of someone selling a picture of a photograph of their sculptures, that people, if they can't buy the sculpture
Not in
itself,
massive volume, but yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. Thank you, Matt. Okay. I'm just telling you, I feel like we're winning the name game today. So, you know, we have Francesco and now Rona del Rio. Also solid name. I mean, rolls off the tongues, Rona.
Thank you.
Yes.
So my question is, I just launched my Shopify a
Yep.
few months ago, and I was wondering, is there a direct service from art storefronts that would help me market directly, where it would just be, I'm not very good with, like, I'm doing a lot of stuff so that I have somebody helping me, but she doesn't have the art
I know. Yeah, I know.
kind of marketing experience.
Yeah.
So I wanted to go a little bit higher on the service for marketing.
Yeah. What I would say is, and I'd answer this a couple of different ways. One, I would say, you know, I've been doing this for a long time. I've talked to so many artists and photographers. There's very few that have a good story, or a story that ends happily, or a story that has longevity with someone helping them out with their marketing, right? And the reason is not that those people are not talented, that are helping them out with their marketing, but no one understands how to sell art and photography. It's really hard. There's a lot of tradecraft to it. There's a lot of nuance to it. So the consultants end up not being long-term plays most of the time, and that's just a sad nature of it. Two, we have a full-blown in-house marketing agency. We've been doing this long enough now that we feel like we have a very good grasp of how it goes, and the agency is everything from fully managed to a la carte services, right? Like you need your Instagram profile tuned up, fine. You can sign up for just that. You need your Facebook page tuned up. So there are those opportunities there. So I would, in your shoes, if you're completely married to the Shopify site, if you just put 3 months, 6 months of work into the Shopify site, the last thing that you're going to want to do is jump ship to a new website. I get that. You might consider contacting the agency directly and seeing what you can do there. The problem with being on Shopify and signing up to, one, get the do it yourself and the Zoom teachings and everything we do, but then also, have preferred access to the agency, is the website is utterly, totally, and completely like apart, married to everything that we do from a marketing standpoint. And I'll give you a for instance. Shopify has sort of a version of this called Kick, which is a little different, but we have our own proprietary algorithm, right? And and this is what I mean when the marketing's baked in. I always use the example because it just takes it out of the nerdy website land. Your website with us is like an Apple store, okay? It's an Apple store with a video camera in the upper left-hand corner. And the minute somebody comes in and they sit there and they look at the iPhone in the Apple store, and then they look at the iPad, and then they look at the MacBook Pro, and then they're buying the iPhone and they leave, our system detects that, it sees that, and then it instantaneously alerts you, and it would say, Rona, Patrick just came into your store. He looked at the iPad, he looked at the iPhone, and he looked at the MacBook Pro. He bought the iPhone and left. Here's the email we think you should send him. And a little box pops up with the email. And the email says, hey, Patrick, thanks so much for coming into the store today. I always like to write a personal email to first-time customers. I just wanted to let you know, thank you very much for your purchase, number one. Number two, I saw that you were checking out the iPhone, but also the iPad and the MacBook Pro. I just want to let you know, for first-time customers, there are some additional discounts that you could have access to, and some bundling pricing that we do. So if that's not something you're interested in, no worries. If it is, let me know. And then you can hit send, or you can edit the email text, right? And that's one of the whole suite of like features where the marketing is actually built into the website itself, right? Like a lot of what we do is, we understand artists and photographers don't want to do any marketing. They hate it. We get that. That's not realistic, but our job is to make it easy as many different ways as possible, right? And so we're constantly throwing in templated language that you can use for this, that, and the other, right? The website has a whole lot of features, and again, not a knock on Shopify, okay? I love Shopify. It's the biggest country in the history of Canada in terms of market capitalization. That's a profound statement to make. It's made to sell everything, right? It's made to sell everything. We're only made to sell art, so it's not even a fair comparison. We'll end up beating the site. But the huge but is, unless you have a healthy business now, Rona, unless you have a lot of people coming to that website, you don't have a website problem. You have a traffic problem, right?
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
If you're an artist that's selling $100,000 a year on your Shopify site and you move to art storefronts, yes, automatically your sales are going to go up because our software is better at converting people into buyers. Okay, that's documented. It's not even up for debate. Problem is, if you have no people coming to your website and you move website providers, it's not going to change anything, right? Because you don't have any people coming there. It's like, I'm going to move my restaurant from the middle of Death Valley in summer to the middle of Antarctica in winter. Like, moving location is not going to change anything. You don't have anybody in your damn restaurant, right? So yeah, that's what it comes down to. But I think independent of whoever you have helping you, you need to have somebody that understands how art is sold. Everyone thinks art is sold by putting a piece up saying 48 hours on sale, this work, sale ends Monday, buy it now, one after the other after the other. And that's just not the way art sells in today's day and age. Maybe 5 out of 100 art sales that go down online is from somebody thumbing through Instagram or on Facebook that sees something and goes, oh my gosh, I love this, I want to buy it, right? And that only happens in the low end price point. Do you know how it really happens? Ooh, that was a really cool piece. Or, ooh, that was a really interesting video of Rona showing her process. Ooh, this Rona chick seems kind of interesting. Then I'm going to follow her on Instagram. And then what happens? You're going to email this person for the next 3 months, and they're going to get to know you. Then what happens? Then you're going to have a Valentine's Day sale, and they're going to be like, you know what? I'm ready to buy some art. I just moved out of the city because I'm sick of these COVID lockdowns. Now I'm in the countryside. I have these white walls, and I'm going to go see Rona, right? That's how it works. That's how it works. And the consultants, by and large, don't get that because, you're You're paid to be a digital marketing consultant. You're paid to be performance driven and be able to show that you see results. But nobody understands that the artist in today's day and age is as much a part of the brand as the actual artwork is, right? They want to know who you are. They want to get to know you. They want to like you. They
Right.
want, yeah. So how it goes.
Right. So from Shopify, since I already have that going on, if I wanted to use art storefronts, does it need to be starting from scratch?
It wouldn't necessarily. Well, if you there's like anything, there's a whole bunch of different ways to do it, right? You could sign up, not take advantage of the website features for right now. Keep your Shopify site up, get access to all the marketing stuff, start in on earnest on that. What would end up happening is after some short period of time, you'd be like, what the hell am I doing on Shopify? I need to move over, right? That's option number one. Option number two would be you could do a bolt-on, what's called a bolt-on. So if your site right now is ronadelrio.com, you could do store.ronadelrio.com. And then you could have your Shopify site still there, and you could put art storefronts on the other one, and then you could decide when and where to send people. But the best thing to do, Rona, is, take the 10 to 15 minutes to have the discovery call with one of our people, get all the facts and figures and the numbers and everything else, and then make your call. But let me ask you, Rona, how much did you sell last year, calendar year, ballpark figure, fine?
From Shopify or from other sales?
In total.
In total, it's hard to say. I did a lot of commissions last year, thankfully.
Awesome.
Shopify maybe sold about 1,000 last month. Commission wise, is pretty good. I would say over 10K.
Yeah, awesome.
Commissions.
Awesome. Yeah, so you're
and then I also
business.
sell. I actually acquired a studio that's by appointment only, so that's helped me show some the community to actually know I exist. So
yes.
that's helpful.
And you can do your Zoom calls in there too, right? Like when you want to show. Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah, which is helpful.
Exactly.
Yeah, that can be super helpful. We can help you for sure, Rona. So I think you should, especially with that sales volume. You already have some momentum. You have some people on your email list. You likely have some social followers. You just need marketing that works, and you need it consistently. Yeah.
Exactly. It's just somebody who knows how to actually like hire up the volume on the actual art.
Yes.
Like traffic.
Yeah.
So I'll definitely check out I signed up as you're talking, and I'm gonna check out the 10 to 15 minutes or something.
It's super simple, and just be like, look, tell them what your story is. Like, I just signed up for Shopify. I just put all this time into this damn thing. The last thing I want to do is move websites. What do you advise? Give me the cost. What are we talking about? And that's what I would do.
Okay.
But again, even if you don't ever sign up, I would attempt to have a conversation with the agency and see, because again, sadly, it's really, really hard to get someone that doesn't understand how to sell art or photography as a consultant and have it work out, right? Like, one, they don't know what they're doing. Two, no one ever has the patience for how long it actually takes. Like, you need that person working with you for 3 to 5 years. Do that, you'll see solid growth. The first couple of months would be really, really hard, but they would get the hang of it. They'd figure it out. It's just one of those things. Selling art and photography is not like everything else. It's just different. Yeah.
I figure we all have our passion, and I'd rather have somebody who's passionate about marketing and sales and all that.
Oh, 100%. 100%. Yeah, 100%. I mean, you still need to do some of it, right? Because you're still the brand.
Yes.
They need to hear your voice. They need to see your face, your personality. So yeah, all of that.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you, Patrick.
Yeah, thank you, Rona. All right, hold on. So Rona's done. Quickly, Lori, you pay that once and you don't ever pay it again. It's a one-time fee to get in. Okay, Jesse, you're up next, and then we'll get to Philip. Go ahead, Jesse. Are you there, Jesse? Oh yeah. Okay, I gotcha.
Sorry, I had to unmute. So I hopped on the end of one of these earlier this week, and after that I looked around on your website and watched some videos, and very intrigued with your concept, the marketing university. That's cool. I've not heard of that. So I'm just trying to get my head wrapped around this. That I do want to do the demo call. I found out about you from a friend who is a musician, and I don't know how he stumbled across this, but I have a background in painting, and he's just been encouraging me to sell my work for years, which I have not done, but I sort of am at a wall where I've had some. So one question I have is, I have work that I've created a long time ago, but I also would, if I do this, start creating new things. And I don't know if you have any comments about, like, because I get there's a thing with like being able to reproduce a consistent style that people know they can come to you and get that. If there's any considerations.
Yeah. I can totally help you. So the good news is you don't have to worry about any of that nonsense right now, because it's all nonsense. It's all conjecture, right? It would all be your finger in the air versus my finger in the air versus your musician buddy's finger in the air. What you got to do is you have to take that product to market and try to sell it. What you have currently, right?
Just what I have.
Yeah, you might find that they love your style and that is your style, and you hit it right out of the park, or you might find that it was so. You got a good enough response to sell some pieces, but not enough to what you want, or it could be crickets, right? And we literally never know until we take it to the market. That's it. Period, full stop. And everyone like always gets, when I say everyone, multiple times in my own personal life, constantly having to fight against it. Our tendency is to overthink all of the stuff that doesn't matter and let it get in the way of the only thing that does matter, which is attempting to sell the work. You need to attempt to sell the work, and until you get that feedback, you have no idea if you're on the right track or the wrong.
That's true. I've sold jewelry in the past, but yeah. So then the other thing I'm wondering about, which I think when I hopped in the other day, it was the tail end of some conversation, and someone was asking you about TikTok, and
yeah.
I appreciated your comment. You said, I think you said something like bad news,
Yes.
Like, I'll let you speak to it.
Yes.
China. So my other question on all this, and I have my background, my last work I did was as a data administrator. I'm not a coder, but I've worked with databases enough. So I've kind of the data mind, and my concerns largely these days are around privacy, data.
Yes.
What's going on out there? I don't trust a lot of it.
Yes.
I read through your, you've got a very long document on your, speaking to some of that, but I am right now making the effort to switch to a private email with a company whose servers are hosted in Swiss Alps.
I'm aware of it. Proton Mail?
Huh?
Proton Mail?
No, it's a different company.
Got it.
Swiss Cyber Cafe, but they have, they also have an e-commerce site. Nothing like, I'm sure, like, I haven't looked at it for a while. Nothing like what you've built out.
Yeah.
And adding all of the stuff that you're doing with the branding and the marketing and all that, I think is so spot on. I think it sounds really smart. So I guess I don't know if you can speak to any of that with the data. And then I guess the third question I have, and again, this might be for a phone call, is like, at what point does this max out? Like, if you get in here and you start growing and the branding is a thing, what if I were to become famous, right? And people are, and all of a sudden I need to have my own, I don't know what.
Yeah, you're number one. I would certainly not worry about that. Okay, that's number one, because just perspective, right? Stay humble. But two, that's the beauty of what we offer. You own everything. You own the domain. You own all the customers. You own all the data. You own all of the email addresses. And so if you decide in 3 months, if you decide in 3 years, if you decide in 30 years, I've got to move. When you move, you lose nothing. You own the domain, and you point the domain somewhere new. Jesse Cult Gallery, right? Because you've got your own online gallery somewhere else or whatever it is. Like, boom, boom, you own everything. So very easy.
Cool.
Yeah.
So with all the customer info and data and all of that, are people generating sales through their own contacts, or is it? It didn't really sound like
100% your own contacts. We're not like a marketplace or anything. I'm trying to get my camera to focus.
Right.
What happens when you have small children and they whack things at your computer all day? Things stop focusing.
Like, it's more like we are your customers, but our customers is a different set of people.
Exactly right. Like, at the end of the day, like, despite all the education and everything else, like, it's your business. We're teaching you to drive traffic into it, right? It's not like let's think of the Main Street retail. It's not like hey, here's this giant warehouse we have, Jesse. Why don't you come and rent a stall from us in the warehouse, and we're going to be responsible for driving foot traffic in. Now, you own your restaurant wherever it is, your thing wherever it is, and you're responsible for driving people into it. We teach you how to do that year in, year out. Yeah.
Helpful. Thank you. What with the, so I saw a couple of your emails with doing the demo call or the 10 or 15 minutes. Is that what's the next step to do?
Yeah, so you fill out the demo form.
I did that.
Okay, yeah, so done. So they'll call you, and then that call is like a 10 to 15 minute exploratory call. You can ask any question about any of the fine print details, any of the rest of that. And then if you like what you hear, they schedule the full demo and to like go through all the software, all the bells, all the whistles. Takes about like an hour. But it's a one-on-one Zoom call, in contrast to these.
Can you say it again? It's a one-on-one that takes about an hour?
To like go through everything, yeah. Because they show you every single solitary feature, how to do everything, what all the back end. I mean, it's like the behind the curtain look, right?
Oh, wow. So you give a whole hour as
Oh
a
yeah.
demo.
Oh yeah. It takes that long. There's that much.
Okay. I'd love to do that. I guess I just wait for the phone call then?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, they'll call you. And don't worry, we are raising our prices at the end of the month, but because you got yours in already, no matter what, you're locked in. So don't worry.
I saw that.
Yeah.
And I think a gentleman asked earlier, so it's $1,000 a year? Was that what it
No,
was?
no. So there's a monthly fee for the website, which is I think it's either $49, $59, $69, or $39. I honestly, I don't know the details because everything constantly changes. But the upfront fee is to get you into the Art Business University, and it's a one-time fee, and that's it. And nothing, like, everything is constantly getting better in there too, which is rad. And then you're constantly getting upgrades throughout the year, and you pay nothing additional, period, ever. Right? Like, you pay the one-time fee to get the education for life, and then you pay the monthly fee like any website company. Yeah. Good, Jesse?
Yes. I think that's all for now.
Yeah. Let's get selling. Let's get selling. Let's figure out somebody can buy that old collection.
There's one back there.
Yeah. Yep. I'll tell you a quick story too, Jesse, and I'll have April put it in the chat, but it's actually the artist behind me. This guy. So he got like really, really good over his years, and he sells pieces now that start at like 10 and maybe goes up to like 30 or 40, 50, but he had all this old inventory. Yeah, so April put it in the chat now. I want you to watch this YouTube video. Like, look at the work here, right? And see how good he is now. So he had all this old inventory in his basement, stuff from like 7, 10, 15 years ago. And he's been doing online shows. I taught him, and you'll hear my voice on there because I'm running him with him, and he's done incredibly well. Like, just blown it out, like, at basement prices. So watch that. You'll be like, okay, this is cool. I get it. It kind of goes to show what you can do. Kai, you had a bunch of questions. Or Ty, I'm going to try to unmute you. If you're there, you'll have to hit your mic. But I can get into the questions. Are you there?
Yep, I'm here.
Okay.
I'm walking around, so can you hear me okay?
Yeah, all good. And by the way, I love this. One of these things that I notice is that you ask this one question that only women ask. Only women ask. And I think this literally goes back. There's a side note, but there's this professor. He's like this NYU branding guy, and he ties, his name's Scott Galloway. He ties everything back to like prehistoric caveman days, like that explains all of our behavior. And it's like, back then, the men were the hunters, okay, and the women were the hunter gatherers, right? And so here, you tell me whether or not this analogy is right, then we got to talk about your question. But he's like, back then, the man was responsible for going out, killing the food, and bringing it back to the cave, right? And so you would go out there, kill the thing, and get it back as soon as possible, because otherwise something big was going to come and eat you, right? The women were the hunter-gatherers, and so, they had to look at the berries and the fruits and the nuts and this and that and make sure that it was all safe and make sure that it wasn't going to poison anyone and was the texture right and everything else. And he goes, this explains every time I go into a store with my wife. I go into the store and it's like an hourglass is turned over. Instantaneously, I want to get out of there. My wife, on the other hand, will sit with the salesperson, ask all of these in-depth questions, get all of this knowledge before they make any decisions. So I don't know. I just think it's funny.
No, that's totally true.
Oh, it's totally true.
That too is where I've always said like men are sort of evolved to be very focused on a specific task, and women have evolved to multitask.
Yeah. You could tie it all back to our caveman days in one facet or another.
Right.
But the question that Ty asked was about how many employees we have, how long we've been in business, and the subtext was, how do I know I can trust you, right? So I'll answer that one first, and then we can get into your other ones. So 7 years now, I think the company's been in business. I think we're probably up to 70 or 75 employees, or maybe 65 employees, somewhere around there. That stage, I think. When you have a relatively new company, the best you can do is investigate the founder, right? And so in our case, the CEO has a long history of starting successful businesses and never selling them. So that would be the greatest peace of mind that I can give you. But huge company, we have really good reviews on Facebook, really good reviews on Trustpilot. You can contact any of the customers, but ultimately the real question you're asking is like, if I sign up, are you not going to disappear in 2 months? And I would say the best thing to base on that is the CEO's got a really strong track record.
All right.
Yeah.
One of the other questions I had asked was, sorry, it's kind of noisy right on the road that I'm walking on.
All good.
Was what sort of success rate do you have with your clients? And then the ones that don't do quite as well, or they don't really get very far with it, what do you notice? Like, what characteristics do you notice with them that maybe it's not working for them how it is for others?
Yeah, so I could answer that a couple of different ways. Like, one, if we just tried to look at the data statistically, you don't stand a chance at ever even figuring it out. And the reason is the customer base is so insanely varied. Every niche imaginable, all over this country, all over other countries, not doing any work on their marketing, working their butt off on the marketing, and everything in between. So it's hard to ask a comparative question in that fashion. And normally the way people ask it, and I'm not necessarily saying you're asking it this way or not, but is like, the premises are flawed. I.e., what are the best selling sizes? If I just know what the best selling sizes are and I add those sizes, then I'll make it, right? Or like, what are the best media types? If I just know the best media types, then I'll figure it out, right? Or like, what's the best way to price my work? If I just know that, then that'll solve my problems. And nothing can be further from the truth. That's number one. Number two, everyone that is extremely successful works consistently on their marketing, and either works consistently on their marketing or has been working consistently on their marketing for a long time. The most successful ones that we have, i.e., aside from a few flukes, a few unicorns, if you will, let's call it the ones that are well into 6 figures a year, have been at it for 7 to 10 years, sometimes 15, sometimes longer, right? Everyone thinks you can start a business like this and in year 2 be making $150,000. That's just not the case that it is.
Right.
But the most important thing is that, you validate that you have a product the market wants. Okay. And again, we sort of alluded to that earlier. The only way you can do that is trying to sell your work to people not named mom, dad, sister, brother, family, friends, right? You have to take your product to market. And then one thing that all of like the top performers have in common is they're constantly trying out new styles and new looks, right? And I sort of give the analogy 2 ways, and then I'll give you the ultimate artist analogy. You've got a restaurant, which is your art business. And let's say you're working really hard on the restaurant and you have your dishes that you make, right? You have your Thai specials, and see what I did there with the Thai. And you have your Thai specials and you're working hard and the restaurant's bringing in money, but it's not mapping to your expectations, right? You want a bigger business and it's doing okay, but it's just not doing what you want it to be doing. Well, you need to get some new dishes on the menu, right? And a lot of times artists are reluctant to do that, try new styles, try new ideas. And so they never end up doing that. And so we call it pivoting. And all of the most successful artists that we have on the platform are constantly trying new ideas, new styles, new looks for the most part, aside from the ones that are cemented.
As far as like the work that they're creating,
Yeah,
or like
yeah.
the way that their website, like the aesthetic, or
No,
all of the above? Oh, just the work.
The work, yeah, the work. And
Okay.
you know, I use this example, which I think is so fascinating. It turns out, Picasso would never meet with like an estate planner or an attorney or ever talk about his death because you know he thought it was bad juju or whatever. And so when Picasso died, he had 45,000 unsold works in his inventory. 45,000. And everyone looks at that and they're like, I don't understand. You know, at the end of his life, he was getting a lot. You know, he's not like a Monet that, you know, 100 years after you're dead, your work is prominent. He was prominent in his life. How could he possibly have that? How do you think he kept hitting so many home run styles? The guy was trying new stuff all the time. A lot of those things were failed experiments on the path to getting there, right? And you know, what we see time and time again is artists and photographers, this is like the vicious cycle. And I covered this in an episode. I want you to listen to it. Everybody will get this email after the fact, but I want you to listen to this. I'm going to put it in the chat too. Listen to it later. It's, you know, like a podcast kind of thing. But what we do as human beings, and artists and photographers especially, is they say, okay, I'm an artist, I'm a photographer, I love creating work. This is what creatively inspires me, right? This is what I really like doing. So I'm going to do this and then go try to sell it. And then you go and try and sell it and you don't get the results that you want. And then you instantaneously inter it as criticism of you. I'm not good enough. I don't have enough talent, right? Like my dad was right. Art is just a damn hobby. Or then you level up to the next level and you're like, nobody's buying art right now. It's a pandemic, so no one has any money. And instead of just saying, okay, that was a rejection letter. We get these all the time. Now I'm going to try something new. You pick a hill to die on, right? And so all the most successful artists that I see are constantly, they don't care, right? They don't care. They just, and the idea is that, how big your potential art business can be. And this, again, I'm giving you a really long-winded answer to your success question. If there's one thing I could impart to you, it wouldn't be what media types or sizes or what crap you have in the About Us section. It would be constantly be pivoting, right? And you don't need to be doing it with 100% of your style. You have whatever style you have now, but constantly be looking to the next best thing. Fire arrows. It's about how many arrows you can fire at the target. A whole bunch are going to miss, but that's the only way you're going to hit bullseyes. And the bullseyes is what takes you from, you sold $18,000 last year, wonderful, to, oh my God, you sold $275,000 last year. That is a huge level up, right? So that's how that goes. That's what I would say, the one piece of advice.
Okay. And this is probably my last one. This one might kind of ties into that. Do you notice that people that gear more towards contemporary style art versus like fine art, classical art do a little better?
No,
as far as that pivoting strategy?
Not in the slightest. Okay. And to be honest with you, it takes like multiple years of looking at data. I'm not kidding. There are people, and I will not name names, okay, but I will be real, where I look at the sales figures and then I go and look at the art and I'm like, how in the hell are you doing this? This stuff is garbage. I don't understand, right? But they figured out something. They figured out a niche. They figured out a group of people that really like and respond to what they do. And the opposite side of the coin is true, too. Like, I've got this one painter that, I'm not kidding, one of the most talented human beings I've ever seen. He's not selling anything, and I don't understand what's wrong. I'm like, oh my God, you're good. So the larger point is, you can't pick horses, Ty. You can't pick horses. And you can't compare your beginning to someone else's middle, to someone else's end, to someone else. You have to get in with the work that you have. You start marketing, and you're trying different styles. You stay at those things, you'll figure it out, and you'll get there. That's the path.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah, I think that this actually, I had some reservations about jumping into a whole lot of this yet, just because I'm sort of working my way into a niche and kind of at the beginning of amassing body of work with where I'm headed. So
yeah, so stop that right now. Stop that right now and start marketing. Stop that right now and start marketing. You're gonna make me give you another analogy, and I promise it's my final restaurant analogy of the day. And then Phil, I'm gonna get your question. We're both cooks, Ty. We're both cooks. And we both want to have a restaurant, right? And I'm you and you're me. So I'm Ty, and what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna say, here's how you start a restaurant. You write a business plan. You go and talk to investors. You go down to the bank, you try to get a loan. You start searching around town for spaces. You lock a space up. You order a sign. You order napkins, plates, all the table decor, you hire a maitre d', you get a cool bartender, and then you open the restaurant. And you know what you find out? Your food sucks and no one wants it, right? Do you know what, do you know what you did, Ty? Because you're smart. You went to Costco, okay, on day one of my weekend where I'm working on my damn business plan to try and figure out how I'm going to start my restaurant. You went to Costco, okay, you bought a $150 rolling cart, and you made your food, and on Monday morning, you pushed the cart into an office building, and you sat there for 3 hours. And guess what happened? The food started wafting up through the little courtyard there. People started coming down. They started eating the food, and they're like, "Damn, Ty, this is some good tacos. These are some good Thai tacos, Ty." And can you come back next week? Well, guess what? You know you've got a restaurant on your hands because these people want to eat your food. I was stupid and did 650 days of planning and writing stuff up, and I never figured out whether or not the market actually wanted my product. So stop.
Right.
Stop. You could be going down a rabbit hole that you don't even want to be down. You got to get that product to market and find out if it's going to sell. You will not know. No one can tell you. None of your friends can tell you. Your family cannot tell you. They will lay down in traffic for you. Likes and comments and shares. Bullshit. You have to get somebody to pull a credit card out or spend cash. That's it.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so that makes sense. I think that was it for my questions. So that was yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Okay.
And that's good because of the point that I'm at right now too, where I haven't really made the work. I've just sort of been contemplating the
Exactly.
work.
And that's the problem is the contemplation starts and then the hours turn into days, turn into weeks, turn into months, turn into years, and you're still contemplating.
Right.
Family Guy's got this scene where, you know, Brian the dog has been writing a novel, and Stewie, the little baby, is just like, "How's that novel you working on? Coming together?" You know, because he never writes it. It's just always makes me think of it. Anyway, get going, Ty. Get that product to market.
All right. Thank you.
All right. Thanks. Go ahead, Philip. You're up next.
All right. Hey, Patrick.
All right. Good to see you again.
Anyway, my sister came up with a strategy for my comic books. Want to hear it?
Yeah, I'd love to.
She suggests that I give away a couple of pages and the cover. That way people know what they're buying. What you think?
So, okay. So, well, if you're talking about online, I don't know about that. I don't like that idea. But you know what you could do is you could draw the comic book. Here's what I would do if you're going to do it online. I would get the comic book scanned, right? And you can buy a simple scanner for a computer. It's not even expensive. They're like $89.
I already have that.
You already got it. Put the first 3 pages into a PDF, okay? And when they opt into your email list, you'll send them the PDF for free. And that's the way that, like, you know, Phil, that's the way that everybody sells books, right? Like if you go into an Amazon listing and it's a first time author, like download the first 10 chapters for free, right? And the idea is that you're going to hook them on how good that comic book's going to be. And then you're going to have the ability to, you know, to say like, oh my gosh, I want to read the rest of this, right? So I think your sister's onto something there. I think that's a wise idea. And I would start doing that immediately.
But I'm going to do the first 3 pages like you said.
Yeah. Yeah. And try and end it on like a cliffhanger, you know, like if on page 3 of the comic, like the two, you know, the hero's about to fight the villain and they start fighting, end it right there, right? So that they don't know who won and they really want to see the rest of it. So pick a good hook.
Yeah. And also I was thinking about for my art, I can do like, ever heard of iCarly?
No, what's that?
Well, it's an old Nickelodeon show, but I was thinking of like doing a little live web show or a little live art show where I do my art in front of people and I can auction it once I finish it.
Yeah, I think that's a great idea too. We have a lot of people that are doing that. Live painting is like really, really powerful, and you don't need anything more than a cell phone. You got one of those, Philip.
And also some good news. I'm almost done my website. Once it's done, I'll promote it on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, DeviantArt, and Tumblr.
Love it. That's how you do it, brother. You know, you start working, you start grinding, you start getting some feedback, right?
And also, I'm putting myself on a plan. I decided to give myself 4 months to do a project. That way I can stay on schedule.
I love it. Stay on schedule. Do a little bit every day. I like deadlines.
And also, I'm doing a Threadless. Ever heard of Threadless?
Threadless. Yeah. I know what Threadless is.
I've been thinking about opening a Threadless account and doing some of my cartoon characters and artwork as masks, t-shirts, etc.
Yeah, I mean, I think you've got the same situation that a lot of the others do. It's like you got to find out if people are willing to pay for it. If they're willing to pay for it, then I go and open the Threadless account, right? But make sure you can sell it, right? Like try and find something local in your neighborhood where you can set up with the comics and have the opportunity to sell them and see if you can get that feedback.
And I can also promote on Facebook, online.
Yeah, you can. Yeah, you can. Whatever it takes to sell them.
And also another strategy. You know about copyright.gov, right?
No, but you could tell me.
Well, I was thinking I could draw my characters on one page to make a big, awesome, to make a drawing, and then after I do the drawing, I could scan it and Photoshop it, and then have it copyright. That way, I don't have to pay a lot of money to copyright.
Yeah, I wouldn't worry about copywriting until you start selling, because then you're just gonna have something copyrighted that no one's gonna steal or wants to buy. So the key is to get it to market, Philip. But I like your deadline. I want you to come back and check in with me in a couple of months and see how it's going. Nina, you're up next. Go ahead, Nina. Yeah, gotcha.
Oh,
Hi.
so
Ooh, it's snowing outside. I can see it. Or there's snow outside.
we have a lot of it, huh?
Yeah.
New York. So
Yeah.
you guys are in Austin, right?
I'm in Southern California, which is why when I see snow, I'm like, woo! Yeah, we don't have any snow over here. Yeah.
I would take that trade.
Yeah.
So then my son is happy. So anyways, I have had a very successful art career in the past.
Mm-hmm.
I generally sell large scale work, including hospital work, 6-figure things, and investments. However, I got sick. I had a family. I stopped working.
Okay. How long ago was that?
About 7 years.
Okay.
I still had I had commissions, and I still had some sales happening. Like I had a big hospital piece in 2012.
Okay.
Okay. So that was a second 6-figure job. And then currently I have a commission, but it's coming from my hometown, which is in Ohio.
Okay.
I had a lot of word of mouth. I hate marketing.
Yes.
Like most artists. I was getting away with not marketing because if you do a 13-foot sculpture, people see it and then their competition wants it. I also lived overseas, and so people came to my studio. I got in with a studio in Florence, all based on them coming to me.
Awesome.
Also in other places, Philadelphia. Now I have to start over.
Yes.
And I have to do marketing.
I know.
Sucks.
I know. And guess what? I hate to do this, but the internet don't care about your sculpture or about your hospital or about your illness. Like it sucks, but it's the reality, right? I mean, there's a lot of upsides, but it's still going to be way easier for you than most. If you had that level of success in the past, you're just lacking attention, So you're not going to have a sales problem. You're not going to have a creation problem. Those are solved. You already have all that feedback. You just have an attention problem.
I hope you're right. The other thing that's complicated is I work in marble, so it's heavy.
Oh man, shipping sucks. Yeah.
And so usually where I've run into issues, I would love to sell directly to clients. Every once in a while I do.
Yeah.
But often what I've found, and I have a question regarding the guy in the background, Matthew.
Yeah.
What I found is clients, when they're buying and they're spending that much money, they want somebody else to back up their thoughts to make sure that the artist they're investing in is going to continue to have a career. Because if they're spending 10K, 20K, 30K,
Yeah.
So how is Matthew's marketing different than somebody who is like, I can't imagine, I've never sold online. That's the thing. I've never had an online sale.
Yeah.
Again, I would love that to happen.
Yes.
But
so in Matthew's case, it's an interesting question because I could talk about his marketing, but really what you're asking is, how do his collectors view his pieces as investments, right? Is sort of the subtle undertone of what you're asking. He markets really, really consistently and has for a whole lot of years. He's gotten really, really good recently. He's had the fortune of multiple celebrities for whatever reason have gravitated towards him. So he's got celebrity sales that, you know, they're constantly commenting and liking and sharing on his Instagram. I think all of that probably plays a role. But for him, it's, you know, why did that happen, right? It happened because he's consistently marketing, right? He's consistently building attention and staying at it. And, you know, the world is shifted, right? Like that whole relationship and world that you were used to, awesome in some ways, completely exploitative in others, right? So, you know, the interesting thing about Matthew is he signed up, and we have a couple others like him, but he signed up really, really early on in the evolution of the company, and we like became good friends. And so he turned over the reins to everything. And so, you know, I have access to his Facebook and his Instagram and everything. And we always used him as case studies. And why am I telling you all this? Because I've got to like watch closely his business over like 5 to 6 to 7 years. And what's amazing is, yes, his business is to sell art. Yes, his business is to sell commissions. Yes, the special prints that he does and have his shows and everything else. But really, it's about collecting collectors. Collectors are people that will buy 5 to 7. 5 to 7 is what Weiland says. I actually like this book. It's a pretty good book. Anyway, what Weiland says. But in his case, I'm noticing that he's got a list of 20, call it 22 people, and every single solitary one of them has bought 7 to 10 pieces. Some of them have bought 20, right? And I look at that and I'm like, oh my God, that's his business, right? Because his prices just keep going up and those collectors just keep going along for the ride. And every time he has a big show, he emails all of them first and they buy 30 to 40% of the show. And if they don't, then they're like, this is really good. It's not what I wanted. I'll get a commission, right? And so you have to be cultivating that list too. I don't know why I went on a tangent. How important a thing. Oh, I know why. The business as you saw it back in the day, you had galleries representing you. You know, you had agents that were placing you in there, is all well and good, but you weren't cultivating collectors that entire time. You don't have those people on your email list. You know, you never had a shot at them. So the online thing is super sexy in the sense that you own everything. You own the email list. You own the collectors. You do not have any revenue splits whatsoever, and you get a market to those people in perpetuity, which is so important. That's where I was going with it. It's like I see him as like, okay, he's got 20 collectors now. What happens when he has 50? What happens when he has 75? How can I get more collectors, right? Is it worth doing this gallery show at a 50-50 split? Actually, yes, it is, because it's a new town and you'll probably get 7 or 8 collectors on your list. Anyway, if you're going to be an artist for the rest of your life, if you love it and you're still passionate about it, and you could see yourself sculpting until your 60s and your 70s, right? Like, all of the things about online that are super sexy, you still have to put in the work on the marketing, and there's no shortchanging that period. Period, full stop, right? You have to learn it a little bit.
Unless you put out 10 big pieces in front of hospitals, then you don't have to do marketing.
Yes. But even then, you'd be 10 times bigger if you did the marketing in addition to that, right?
You're right.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're right.
So in your case, if you can commit to that, I mean, how many pieces are you creating a year right now?
Not that many.
Yeah.
Because especially right now with COVID, and I have a little one at home. I mean, a 6-year-old. So
yeah.
I mean, the kid's not going to school, barely.
No, I know.
Probably creating. Oh, he's coming around.
What's up, dude?
Full of energy. I need to like capitalize. I'm actually training him to do sanding. So
yes.
Probably, some big pieces I was working on. So I did. Daniel, stop, please. Okay.
Mine are 3 and 5. So I know where you're at.
Okay, Daniel, that's enough. So I'm doing one large piece, which is a commission, a portrait. Right now, that'll be like a $20,000 job, which is actually pretty low for what it is.
Yeah.
I just wanted the job, but I need to finish it overseas as soon as it opens up. I have another large piece, but that took several months to do. But then I'm doing like a lot of sketches, and I'm working on models. I'm hoping next time I go overseas, I work between here and Italy. That'll be, if I can grab another commission, then I'll work on 2 pieces at the same time while doing this bigger piece. Yeah. I do have a gallery in Florence right now, but to your point, they sold a really big piece to a great British collector. Do I have any contact with that collector?
No, you do not.
I do not.
You probably don't even know their name.
No, I do. Well, I actually, through another artist, I got to figure out, because they are prominent collectors. But anyways, they own one of 2. Could I follow up? No. Did the gallery take me a year to pay me?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
In Italy. So right now they have 2 pieces. I don't really know if they're sold or not. and I have no legal records if they have and haven't paid me.
Yeah.
It's a really crummy.
No, it sucks. It's exploitative, and the balance of power is like kind of taken away from them, right? Like the way that I think about it is like, you know, the music industry is the easiest way to do it. Like back in the day, you didn't have a record deal, no one would ever hear your music because the record companies would pay the radio DJs, and the radio DJs would actually play the music so you could develop an audience, sell records, and do concerts. Now people say, screw you. I am going to start releasing music directly. I'm going to do it directly through the socials, and they can grow just as big and fill as many butts and seats and concerts and keep all the money. So, you know, that industry got disrupted. So too yours. Like, who's not to say if you didn't come in, started working in earnest on your marketing, had an impressive website. We show you how to get a Wikipedia page set up because in your case, you need a Wikipedia page because of the prestige, right, of what you're doing. Was kicking butt on Instagram, was kicking butt on Facebook. Guess what would have happened? That collector would have said, I really like this. I want to stay up to date with what she's doing. Oh, here she is on Instagram. Oh, she's posting regularly. Oh, 6 months from now, they'd send a DM. I'm interested in a commission, or I want to know what's going on with your next piece. Trust me, the rich people want to sidestep the galleries as bad as you do, right? They want to just as bad. But if you're not marketing, you're not making an effort on it, you're never growing the only part of your business where you set all the rules, right? You don't set the rules in the gallery. They own the attention. They own when to pay you. They don't tell you anything. You know, it's exploitative. And I'm not saying if you've got it working, shun it, but you cannot do it in lieu of the most important thing, which is building something that you own and you control all the rules, right? Whether you sign up with us or not does not matter. You need to own the website. You need to own the email list. You need to be marketing regularly on the socials. None of us can afford to be emotional about that because they have all the attention. You know, the commodity in today's day and age is just attention. With it, you can do whatever you want. You set the rules. You can start any business you want. Without it, it's crickets, right?
And you guys can't help with the Instagram part.
All of it. All of it. It's not just Instagram. It's all of it.
I just started.
Yeah. But there's a lot that really interests me about your story because if you're selling at that clip, you obviously know what you're doing. You're very good. So, you know, it makes things significantly easier because you just need to do the work, right? You need to commit to.
You're right.
You need to commit.
You're right.
Steve Jobs said it best. It takes 3 to 5 years to build anything of value in today's day and age, and it's no different when you start out on the internet and you've done nothing, right? You have no email list, you have no website, you have no social followers, you've not been marketing there. 3 to 5 years, but contemplate 3 to 5 years of what your business would look like at your price points, with the ability to show that, have your own attention, let people know you're working on a new piece, get commissions, get people that want to see it earlier. Like the business is there. The business model is there. The ability to do it directly without anyone setting the rules is there. There's no shortcut on the work, right? There's no shortcut on the work. You want to pay somebody to do it for you? Yeah, we have agency people that do that. But on some level, you're part of the brand. You know, you always have been, right? Like they kind of want to know who you are. They want to know about you. And maybe not in that British collector edition, but otherwise they do. So you have to be involved.
And I do have a benefit in that I worked overseas for like 7 years, and I worked in a place that my husband calls like the Hollywood of sculptors. Damon Hirst worked in the same studio. Like as far as like I have friends who are mentors and I'm on, so at least like in my circles, I have other sculptors that are doing extremely well. Yeah. So it's just a matter of tapping into those circles.
Yes.
Don't really know how to do that exactly successfully, but I mean, I do have that benefit.
Yes, that will help you along the line. But you know, as a final, I'll say, you know, you just asked the version of the high net worth individual question, right? And like people always come on, they're like, my work's really expensive. How do I only market to high net worth individuals? And the funny thing is, aside from the 99-cent stores, name me a business that doesn't want to market to the high net worth individuals. We all do, right? Everybody wants to. So by definition, if everyone wants to do something, it is extremely difficult. So what everyone thinks is like, I need to figure out a way where I can just target the high net worth individuals. And I've been doing marketing a long time. I've attempted as many get rich quick target the high net worth individuals as I've ever seen. Guess what? It doesn't work. And which is not to say it doesn't work. You can get some victories there, but it doesn't work as effectively as working on your marketing. Everyone's followers are a bell curve. Mine, yours, Jesse's, if she starts her marketing, they're all a bell curve. Lower class, they'll like, they'll comment, they'll share, but they don't have any money to buy anything. Lower middle class, upper class, right? Everyone's followers follow that bell curve. And what happens is that over here, this path over here is just trying to network to high net worth individuals. You're gonna send emails from 9 to 5 to every hotel manager in the United States, and then you're gonna do it in Europe, and you're gonna do it a country at a time. Or after that, you're gonna cold email or phone call or send postcards or send gift baskets to all the highest interior decorators in the entire United States. You're gonna be on House and get every top name, right? So you could do that over here in your silo, or you could work generally on your marketing. What happens is you just push that bell curve up and up and up and up and up as attention goes. And what ends up happening is they find you as a result of it. They find you as a result of the quality of the work. They find you as how you position it, how you talk about it. And you get the opportunities to find those people most effectively, okay, in terms of ROI, time, energy, talent, all the rest of it, by doing that level of marketing. And you know what ends up happening? It's always weird things. It's always like, you know, one of the low end people on the bell curve shares it with someone who's a friend, was like, oh my gosh, and that's how the sale happens. Like there's serendipity that happens as a result of working focused on marketing consistently over time. No one wants to say that, but it's the truth.
Well, you know, carving is pretty consistent over time too.
Oh, I would say so. And your material costs, I'm sure, are very inexpensive. So the great business model there. It's a giant block of marble cost.
It's heavy, it's delicate, it's expensive.
Yeah.
But so yeah, to give you an idea, one big piece for a hospital can take 9 months to a year. And then even when I'm working consistently, when at my best, I'm still only doing maybe eight pieces a year.
Yeah. 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 Yours is an intense one. Yours is an intense one. I would just say, I don't give this advice to a lot of people because most people are not in this situation. I don't know how much press you have
Some
over the years. You need to gather all that and see if any of it's online. If it is, you need to get yourself a Wikipedia page.
Yeah, I have some press, like for the bigger pieces, like they did a little bit of news stuff.
Get all of the links to all of those sites, all of those things where they live, and get them into a Google Doc spreadsheet. And you can send me an email and I'll teach you how to get a Wikipedia page stuck in there. But if you look at any list, the top 10 contemporary sculptures, the top 50 contemporary sculptures, the top 50 abstract painters, or whatever it is, any prestigious list, they all have a Wikipedia page. It's all a game. It's all a game when you start leveling up. It's all a game. By the way, do you know Damien Hirst has never painted any of those dots in like 10 years and still sells those damn dots full price? His understudies do all of it.
Well, yeah, I could tell you that because the studio I worked in, the people working for him had it all covered up in this area in Pietrasanta, Italy. Mm-hmm. So, no, it's being carved. But that carving is not always, I mean, that's not that uncommon with carving. I direct carve. A lot of people will do it in clay and have someone else carve it. Damon Hirst does not carve.
Yeah, amazing.
Big shocker.
Good marketer. Good marketer, though.
Yes, he's an excellent marketer. Another time, I have the question I will have for you is, I do have lower end things, but they're drawings, they're paintings.
That's totally okay. You need that. You need additional revenue sources than just the big dogs.
But the galleries would say, to me, never to show them in the same place because it lowers the brand.
Oh God, I'm so sick of those people. I would like to drive to their gallery location, drag them outside, slap them in the face with a glove, and say that.
All of them.
I know, because they're stuck in their silly way of working. And by the way, how many of them are in business right now? How many of them are banging on your door to get the art in there because they're moving so much of it? They're not, right? They had the rug pulled out underneath their business model quite significantly. I'm not knocking the model, right? If you can get it working, fantastic, but never in lieu of building it yourself. It's the only venue you set the rules.
Is there a way to kind of direct people to a different page that is more accessible?
Yes, you don't need to, though. Trust me, you don't need to. You're the brand. You're the brand, right? And like in today's day and age, it's hard enough to get any damn revenue source working. You can have multiple ones working for you, and no one will think lesser of you in the slightest. In the slightest.
Even if the work is lesser?
Yeah.
Because the work isn't as good. I'm not as good a painter as I am a sculptor.
It's okay. Honestly, it's okay. Trust me. I know it's hard to say, but I can say it without emotion because that's all I do is I look at the data of who's winning, right? Like if prestige is the goal, then maybe no, don't do the two. But if you are looking for revenue, which I imagine you are, then yes, you put all of those in there straight up. Do you know what the easiest customer to get is? No one ever talks about this. The one that you already have. Do you know what the easiest way to get more customers in the door? It's not by starting at $20,000 price points. You know, you're going to have a very small pool that way, right?
That's the problem, yeah.
Yeah. And by the way, like as a final, and then, I'll have to end this today because my wife's yelling at me. You have to get, you have to live your life, and especially in the art business, asking yourself, is this decision I'm about to make a reversible decision or not? If it's not reversible, spend a lot of time thinking about it. If it's reversible, do not stress about it in the slightest. You put your website up, the sculpture's on there alone. Guess what? You can put all of your other art pieces on there and keep them up there for a year. If it doesn't work, you can pull them off. No one will know. No one will care. I'm not buying Nina's sculpture. She had these cheap art prints up there for a year, right? I will come up to New York. I got my buddy in Long Island, and I will literally go to that gallery guy's place and drag him outside, pistols at dawn. It's nonsense.
That's good advice. Thank you.
Yeah. All right.
Okay.
Okay, guys, thank you. Everyone have an absolutely wonderful weekend. That was really fun. I feel like there's some really good questions today. If you're interested in a demo, they're all over our blog, all over our site. We are raising our prices. So if you get one in before the end of the month, which is what, 7 or 8 days, you can lock in the earlier pricing. But that's all I got is my salesman fees pitch. Have a great weekend, everybody. Really appreciate it.